Ever play this game as a kid? Well, I'm not much of a games player, but I know I did. Last couple of days I just released a video showing how life was slowly returning to normal here. The tourists are coming back, the businesses are reopening, things are looking positive. But the Omicron variant is now on the march throughout the country and people are getting scared. We're in a somewhat privileged position here in the sandbox of Phuket. The rest of the country isn't nearly as fortunate regarding things getting back to normal. But the gains that we've had have come at a considerable cost. And now that the Omicron variant is back and is sweeping through the country, are we about to lose what we now have? So hidden in the relative safety of the back seats of the Aussie bar on Soi Bangla, I look out and survey the situation and wonder where we go from here.
Hello, it's Friday, I think it's the 7th of December. We're in a little bit of a crunch time here in Phuket. I'm currently in the Aussie bar and we'll have to wait and see, but maybe I'm just making hay while the sun shines, or having a last treat, depending on how you think and what the future has in store. Anyway, I hate to mention the dreaded word COVID, but COVID is now moving through this community again, and the Omicron variant is largely responsible, and they're getting worried again. And if you look at the online news, there's a big meeting today to see what, if any, additional measures are going to be taken, which pretty well at the top of that list is the old chestnut banning alcohol sales in restaurants. Leaving aside closing the bars, I mean, strictly speaking, the bars shouldn't be open at all as far as I know. So I asked the owner of this one, if it went the wrong way, how would it affect us? And to start with, no one really knows what's going to happen, but he did point out that the news is centered on Thailand as a whole, and Bangkok in particular, and Phuket is something of an isolated case, because it's right now it's the only sandbox that's open, and so there are certain restrictions being waived here, such as alcohol in restaurants. Well, I think that's all right everywhere, but there's a lot, the vast majority of the bars are open right now, and the police are ignoring the edict that they should close between 2 and 5 in the afternoon. So the answer is we'll have to wait and see. Tomorrow we maybe know whether the no alcohol in bars gets implemented again, and if it's actually done here, which would be a suicidal move, just as the economy is getting going again and people are starting to earn money and the whole place is looking better, and loads of tourists are here. To shut all the bars down and all the restaurants to be alcohol free would be an absolute disaster, and I honestly don't think they'd be that stupid, but you never know, so I'll get back to you maybe tomorrow on that and just post this as a little mini video. So cheers.
And this is the view out of the front of the bar. I feel relatively safe in this bar here because the owners behave very responsibly, and they do religiously check their staff every couple of days for COVID, and if any of them are found to be infected, then they're not banished or fired, they're just put on furlough. But things aren't the same everywhere. The two bars you could see in the previous photo on the other side of the road have got a different philosophy. For a start, they're not telling the whole truth about the number of people they've got working there. They say they've only got about 10 girls working at that bar, but the real figure is actually nearer 40, which gives them a secret reserve they can call on. But the scary thing is, when their staff was tested recently by the local authorities, like they do regularly, virtually the entire collection of their bar staff were found to be COVID positive. So I'm not going to be sitting in that bar anytime soon.
Well, here I am again, your roving reporter. It's the next day, and I can report some clarification anyway. So what the government has done is kind of hedged its bets, and they have moved some of the different provinces in Thailand into different zones, depending on officially how much COVID they have. But it all boils down to the fact that there are now 9 zones, of which Phuket is one of them, that are designated blue zones, which means alcohol can still be served in restaurants. Basically, those zones are Bangkok and Phuket. Not Pattaya, funnily enough. They seem to have a downer on Pattaya, but basically all the places where they can make a buck when they daren't shut down. All the other provinces have been put into orange zones, which means no alcohol in restaurants. All the bars are closed. All the nightlife is done. And even here, if they adhere to the rules, I believe that they should stop serving alcohol I think it's 9 o'clock in the evening, which is going to upset the tourists. But the biggest hammer blow is probably the suspension of the what do they call it? Test and go, which means you in the past, holidaymakers could have turned up at the airport here and taken a PCR test and then get on with their holiday, unless it proves negative, in which case they're contacted and slapped in jail. Now anyone coming in has got to quarantine. I'm not sure for how long, maybe a week, I don't know. So that is going to affect their tourism, believe me. But we'll have to wait to see how much. Anyway, that's all I know. Cheers. So this is the interior of the Aussie bar now. It is January the 8th, I believe. And things have changed since the run-up to Christmas when I was in here. This place was absolutely heaving, but now it's back right on. And to be fair, you're not seeing as many people on the street now either. So whether the number of tourists coming in has gone down or not, I don't know. I suspect that's the case. It wouldn't actually do that anyway after Christmas, I reckon. But the uncertainty on quarantines and whatever is not going to help. Although I think that's for the near future, because I think people that have booked to come here before the 15th of January can still come in on the test and go. But you know, they're changing the rules every day. That's the problem with That's the problem with travel now. You make plans and they might be scotched due to changing rules, or they might change the rules while you're in the air. You just don't know. So that's why a lot of people are just not bothering anymore. I'm one of them, and I need to get back home.
Hence the opening caption. You go through life climbing up the ladders that lead to freedom, only to throw the wrong number on your dice and go plunging down the snake again back into captivity. It's like that here, it's like that all over the world. It's a really horrible situation, but you just have to make the best of it. Bye bye.